Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, BFORCE. Thinking right out here in my lab. Sun is up now, but I'm back in the book. I got a nice little lesson. Woo-wee. Hope you enjoy this one. I like this one myself because it's a little personal and I had to learn this one, a good one. Life lessons I learned from the book that you got to put in action and manifest to get the full understanding of it. So let's go. The lesson's going to be good, right, thinkers? Let's talk about if you misuse the gods, the forces, you'll pay, okay? Something like that, but let's go. Wrightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my story for life. I give life lessons. You can tune in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Let's get it together. So I ask the question, do you know you? You will when I get through, because that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have to answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, very simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my yacht be true. I finished off at telling the concept of the using of the force for the wrong purpose. And in life, if you don't change because you want to, if you don't change because you aspire to, if you have to be humbled by life to change, that's called the school of hard knocks. I took that approach in life. Why? I want to know for myself. If you want to know, okay, take the hit. So we call it hard knocks. But if you're smart, you can avoid that. Let's talk about another concept different. So what I'm saying, what I'm trying to get at is that all these studies, all my studies that I've been doing and still doing, and from what they say, if you have not, listen to this, uttered or chanted 10,000 times in the ancient times, the priests all day long would chant okay? And the way it has been explained that 500,000 times to what? At up to 1 million times. This is consistency. This is what they do, and this is how they get involved with the mind. But if you have not done your rituals, if you have participated in the rituals that took days, Shriners, Masons know that. Okay? What they practice, this is what they're telling you about right here. Watch this. If you hadn't done a ritual that lasts for days, and then you hadn't participated in the studies and practiced the meditations that went on for hours, days, in some instances, months or even years, but to be able to, you will not be able to attain that level of psychic power without that kind of rigorous practice. So it ain't for everybody. But, and they say, yeah, it's hard for you to get it, and it should be. Just getting knowledge of self, right thinking philosophy, that's hard. So I know reaching that level is a lot harder. Like going to college, next level up, okay, it's the highest level. But the years, it take years, okay? That's the difference. Not a few semesters, no, we're talking years, moving on. And it's hard to, because it should be. But yet, you're doing what in life, day to day, what they call a kind of ritual anyway. Why? As ordinary human beings, that keeps you tied to what? And caught up in what we call worldly entanglements or concerns. Job, school, all that stuff. That's society put that on you. So you got to keep up. So you should do enough of what? Your own sheeting, study, and practicing what? On your spiritual disciplines. That's what I do. Of the Kemetic rituals. And by doing that, you will break the hold of what they call the worldly rituals, meaning the worldly rituals are the habits that you indulge in that get you what? More and more involved in what? The world's entanglements and less with what? Your spiritual matters. When I spend time by myself, I spend a lot of time meditating, talking to myself, going inside myself, learning about myself from a perspective that a lot of people don't spend time to worry about, but that's what I do. And when you watch, this is what I don't do. And this is a big problem. When you watch television, they lying to you right in your face. They telling you lies to your vision and playing you for a sucker. Watch. Now you are fulfilling yourself with what? With somebody else's ideas. You're being programmed. Okay, you're being manipulated. And their energies. And reinforcing these from what? Day to day. They just sucking you dry. They just playing you for a fool. And we just going on. That's the matrix they tell you about. They showed it to you. We all know about it. But unless you unplug yourself, you still part of the system. Okay? I'm looking at y'all. Why? I ain't part of that nonsense. So I can look and see. Been there, done that, so I can see what it is. Now, watch this. If you are watching some X-rated movies, and right now, porn is free. For y'all talking about these bros who want to send the money on there, not, come on, man, this thing right here is getting ridiculous. Porn is free. You can watch people have sex all you want, but watch this. That's doing what? You are now aligning yourself with low-level lifestyle, lustful desires of the flesh, and lustful energies that you put into the atmosphere. Your forces now of what? Low nature. Women, curvy women, pretty butt, all that nonsense. Naked people. And those are being drawn to you. You are what you are. If you're a pervert, you're going to run into perverts. Okay? To you, they're going to bring to you. Why? Because it's going to exasperate that concept, that aspect of your personality. We don't get what we want. We get what we are. Women keep getting the wrong man. No, you keep picking them. Fellas, keep picking the wrong. No, you doing it. Again, that's who you are. That's what you represent. Get a good one. I hear people say, and this is pissing me. Fellas, ladies, God damn it. Let me say this to you one time. You don't need but one. Male need but one female. Female need but one male. But if you want pleasure of the flesh, now you're talking a whole different animal. Don't talk that. Don't bring that way to love and respect and spirituality. No, they ain't got nothing to do with none of that. Your pleasures is your pleasures. Doing right is one mate. Animals, some mate for life. Why? They don't need no more than one. Wolves mate for life. A bunch of few animals that once we get together, this is it till death do us part. That's what y'all say at marriage. Y'all claim that nonsense, but how many of y'all live up to your vows? One of y'all gonna cheat. If both, sometimes both. But that means y'all ain't happy with what you're doing, so get past that. Moving on. Sorry about that to go there. But that's your energy that you bring. Cheaters cheat. What? Y'all cheat each other. And like attracts like. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So if you want to be wise, like I said, her husband was a star. When he died, she didn't remarry. She didn't get another man. No, a little different concept. But again, these is people we created. They're not real people. I get caught up sometimes, because they're characters in me, their personality. I'm real, so they're real to me, inside me. Okay, understand that concept. And what's this? You're being drawn to what? To you, and it's going to, you are to spend, if you want to be wise, there you go. If you want to be wise, you are to spend time with who? I said. By doing what? You will attract her energy, and then she will guide you and impel you to what? And then push you more to be like her. Why? It works the other way also. For the negative energy, there you go. Anything that go both ways. It can't just have one way. But the negative energies will also, as the positive energies. This is why the teachings of the Temple of Aset, y'all call it Isis, contains the following injunctions. These are philosophical phrases and mantras that you can practice and live by. This knowledge of the goddess, she invites us to seek after her as being near and dwelling continually with her. Be like, I eat, sleep, drink, mayat. Everything I do is mayat, based on what? Equality, equilibrium, justice, order, all those things that she represents. I live that. That's how. And she real to me. That's the difference. Okay. Now, if you spiritually elevate yourself with virtue and through daily meditation, what happened? You reach a state above the waking state. You done came a little bit better, yeah. And now you elevate yourself to what they call the astral plane. You don't need the body no more. Now it's all mental. Now we're in my neighborhood. Come on, there you go. Thinking is all mental, and it's from the neck up. There you are to remain now what? Awake, conscious, aware. God is spirit and consciousness. Okay, made flesh and aware. It is important to what? Remain aware. Being God conscious. Y'all call it being prayed up. Christ consciousness. Being prayed up, being whatever, but it's important to remain what? Aware, woke, when? At all times. And not just to enter into what we call the astral plane, where either you're going to go to sleep or you just go into that state of meditation. But that's the next level that the body can't go to. The body to earth, heart and spirit back to the maker. Okay, but you gotta become conscious. That's the game. With being in the experience you have in the physical body. But having experience, whatever happens, watch this, because that would change the experience from a vision, which is opposite of what we call a dream, where one remains aware in his dream world. And one does not get caught up in this happening. And actually, one can, listen to this, control the dream world and shape it according to the one's will. And what, in other words, in one mind is the creator, the sustainer, and the destroyer. In essence, the all-encompassing divinity, which we know as the Nirvana, or the absolute master of oneself. You want to reach that level through what? Meditation and daily practice of righteous living. Not through just hoping, wishing, and dreaming it happen. Don't work like that. You got to put the work in. That's what it's all about. And watch this. To a dream, not aware of being in the dream, that's the astral plane. When you go to sleep, you go into the astral world, whether you like it or not. Whether you understand it, no, it don't make a difference. But if you understand lucid dreaming, meaning you're conscious even when you sleep, that's what meditation and higher consciousness will be able to do. So when I go to sleep, I know I'm in a dream world. I control pretty much the dream to my liking. So I don't have nightmares. I don't wake up. That's all. That's mind control. That's self-mastery. Okay? That's what it does for you. Teach you how to think even when you're dreaming. And through ignorance, watch this, through your ignorance of yourself and loss of what they call higher awareness, one falls from self-mastery to now servant. And from the servant to now you become a slave to what? Your ego, an illusion created by one's own ignorant fears, desires, weakness, and delusions. That's all factors of the ego mind. And this is not to be allowed. Why? Because with spiritual discipline of the mysteries is designed to stop and reverse that, prevent that from happening. Knowing thyself will stop you from what? Being ignorant of thyself. If something going that way is wrong, then right must be that way. Not a 360, 180, halfway. Go back that way. Okay. But now, the greatest prevention is unenlightened consciousness. That's the ignorant person who's comfortable being ignorant. That means they don't want to learn. I just gave a lesson about that. Y'all didn't take that too well. I'm going to back it up with another one and tell you why you like that. That's why my point. Y'all ain't even paying attention. For when, watch this, when a dark room, an unenlightened mind, an ignorant mind, when it's lit with what? Knowledge of self. When it has total understanding, now in that mind, there's no place for darkness, aka illusion or ignorance, to remain. That makes sense? That my feet just jumping. Why? Because that's how you control how you think and what you think will come and be having control of your conscious mind, knowing that you are what? An enlightened being, not an ignorant being or human being. That's ignorant. Okay? When I finish this up, you get that point. I'm coming to that now. I got a little more to go. Okay, let me speed it up. But when the lights of the conscious mind comes on and there is little or illuminating part of the room of your mind, then there is always going to seem to be what? Some other unknown. That means you ain't 100% vested. You still hiding something, that darkness, the dark side. You still holding out. No, give in 100%. Let it go. And that means the unknown is still lurking in the back of one's mind, aka darkness. That's the ignorance. You still ain't giving it all in. Some people do just that means you ain't with me. I don't need 99.99999. Just give me the damn 100. Simple. Stop. What? Moving on. But watch this. But in that room, in your mind, again, there is only what you have put there. You can't know what you don't know. Ain't nothing you can't have an idea or conceive a fact that ain't in your damn mind. Please understand that. And they just told you that. Anything that's there is what you put there. And turns out to be what? Nothing. Why? Because when you shine the light of wisdom and then the spirit to go with it, intellect, spirit, Ak, that means an enlightened being on it. Watch this. So if you remain awake, purified, and fearless, now you can have what, you ready? A direct contact with what? That presiding deity of the cosmic forces that you're practicing. You have direct contact with Aset, and she represents the Akashic records. Why? She represents wisdom. She knows all. So if you got that aspect of you, that's what you have access to. Get the concept? And you can converse with them personally, directly. Watch this. I ain't done. I'm almost there. But if they feel that you are worthy for what? The deeds and how you live, offer self-service, doing the things you're supposed to do. They recognize that. And if they feel that you're worthy, what happens? They will give you some instructions directly. No middleman. See where I'm going with this? All right, let's go. But this is a popular practice by ordinary people from ancient Egypt. There was even a practice. They used to do what? Go sleeping in the temples. That's like going sleeping in the church just to be closer to the spirits. Okay, just to get in contact, the little spirit can come. And so as to what? Provoke a meeting with the divinity. They believe that the spirit was in the temples. Okay, of that temple. In your astral, which is your mental dream world, the fantasy place where everything takes place up here, down here ain't no longer in play. Everything now is up here. Once you go to sleep, the body is at rest. So all your senses is useless. Hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching means nothing in the astral world. Why? It's all mental. That's why. And what's this? Of course, it is when then and now you are what? Recognize that what? The astral plane is the next plane outside the physical, you think? Outside the next plane of existence, after what we know to be the physical world. This is the tie, you got the pet, that's the heaven, and then you got the dua. That's where you go into the third level. But life after the physical world plane. But you should not neglect the living sources of wisdom, the sages who can be like conduits, messengers for your Netarian inspirations, and just like a jazz musician, I love this. When they go into their solo, or they play jazz, and with the group, they doing their thing, but without even thinking about it, when they had to improvise, they just let it go. That's God. That's talent. Why? You ain't even thinking about it, you're just letting it happen. When I come in and do my show, I read about it, but then once I start going, it takes on a whole different meaning. That's how I know that too. So, and we all got the same thing. I ad-lib, improvise, same thing. My man was the master of that. Oh, he loved that. That's right down his alley. He don't need no script. He don't need no thinking strip. Where we at? church gathering, or you give a sermon. You don't care. And where does that music or creativity come from? A sage and a saint can also be like that with what? The teachings. I love this. And as they speak, what I'm doing now, words are coming out that they did not plan to say. I'm reading, but as I'm reading, I'm contemplating, I'm creating a whole different philosophical concept that I could add to what I'm reading to hopefully break it down to get better understanding. That's what the preachers do at church every day, every week. I can do that, but I just do it with a little longer, process. And watch this. And where does those words come from? I got them up there. If they wasn't up there, they couldn't come from there. That's the one I'm trying to tell you. I do a lot of studying. But this is similar to what they say in a way, but not the same as the concept behind channeling. Channeling is different. You get in touch with the spirit and let the spirit speak to you. I get the concept, I understand it. I don't do channeling, okay? And in a sense, but from a higher perspective, that's what they specialize in. The spiritually developed person, okay, enlightened, is one who is connected to what? Higher principles. The force. You lose the force. And what happened? And they become one with those forces, aka God and Goddess divinities, on an even higher level. The sage, me, is connected to the source. Just like my pastor, I respect him. He get his information downloaded from God. God is in his mind. I study, practice, and learn. I get my information the same way. Okay? Understand that. So in the respect that we have for each other, for what we do, we both know the take. So yeah, we know the source. And I know the transcendental origin of all things. God. My pastor knows the same thing. Beyond what we call the Benben. The Benben was the first place to stick the pyramids. That's just the Benben stone. Pyramidium. Okay, where God sat for in creation. But beyond that, meaning before creation, before time and space, how about that? Before the Big Bang, to the transcendent being, God, the one, that is different. Watch this. That's different than channeling. Why? Channeling is like you are an individual, and we all are, or a medium. Again, conduit, messenger, whatever you want to call it. Tahuti is God's mind. He's the messenger. Mercury, Hermes, everybody got one. Okay. But I like my favorite is Legba from the Yoruba tribe. I do the voodoo too. I just study that stuff, so I'm liking that. I did the comparison with the guys. Nonetheless, moving on. Y'all didn't like that either. But you are like a cell phone repeater station. And when you have a cellular phone, a cell phone signal goes to one antenna, to the next antenna, to boost it, and send it to another antenna, until what? It gets to the person where the call is going to be answered. And a sage, what? A sage is not just a repeater. No. But one with the source. Yeah. I know God. So when I pray for you, it's going right to him. You know that? I'm a prayer warrior. I don't say a word out loud. You figure that out. But again, that just told you, he get my message. Why? Telepathy. I communicate with him on a whole nother level. You can do it too. That's what I'm trying to show you. And so what? Words have no use. So the words of such a one are to be what? Treated like the source, as if what? The divine itself was speaking directly. He speaks to me. My pastor speaks to him. Anybody who's at that level, that's what we try to tell you. Get excited. Calm down. I'm about to wrap it up. I got a whole other page of information, so this is going to go on. I'm going to cut out this part right here, the fluff. I got to skip past that. Sorry, y'all. Y'all going to miss that one. But you can't miss what you can't measure. So if you ain't never had it, you can't miss it. Perfect. But let me wrap this up with gods are what? Immortal men. We're spiritual beings. That's God. Okay? Men are mortal gods. We're in the flesh. We're human. And if we don't become conscious of who we really are, remember who we really are, We're going to just keep recycling and being human beings. That's why I play that same game and wrapping it up with men and women. Again, this is the wrapping it up right here. And I got a Q&A lesson I'm doing next. But wrapping it up with this one. Men and women are to become God-like. Well, no, how? Through a life, right here, living of righteous and virtue and the cultivation of one spirit through scientific study, sheedy, and understanding the principles, studying them and mastering them with knowledge and practice bodily discipline daily. Workout, physical fitness, keep the body in shape, daily prayer, meditation, keep in touch with the spirit, live right. All those qualities, all those things is what gets you to be God-like. Because that's what God recognizes in his human form people, men and women in human form. Wrapping it up, knowledge is far different from the senses. Again, from this down, don't count when you're dealing with knowledge. Why? Because it's all mental. And for sense is brought about by this that which hath mastery over oneself, while knowledge is the end of proven through by science. Well, I told you the heart spelled conscious, spelled CONSCIENCE. It's been scientifically proven by our ancient ancestors. And science is you ready? Is God's gift. So that man can get to know him. Consciousness, okay, you can prove it. All science is incorporeal, and that's your instrument that you use, being the mind, just as the mind employs the body. All is mental, the world is mental, and the universe is all mind. That's the concept. If mortal man and woman can discover their own, every individual, divinity, this means that they rule on a lower planes, the planes of matter, physicality, and the mental instinct to raise to become conscious. In a sense, that is what it means to become, you ready? Haru is waking up, becoming conscious of self, knowing thyself. That's Haru. That means great. I'm preparing for greatness. That's what I'm trying to get to be Haru. And watch this. Haru the great. And also this is what it means to to be the pharaoh, the king or the queen of oneself, that you preside over your world. You are your world. You are Egypt. Egypt is you. And in the existence, they also rule the higher planes, as well as the planes of intellect by studying, and the astral existence by becoming lucid and being aware all the time, knowing when you're dreaming. All those play into role. And right now, in an up-and-coming lesson, I'll break the Haru down for you a little more, but I'm going to do a Q&A session. Let's leave that for next. No matter of fact, I'm going to do a whole lesson with just Q&A. Quick answer, quick question, then answer. I got 1, 2, I think 3 questions. No, 4 questions. Oh, maybe 5. But yeah, I got a few questions. And at this book, as you go through it, they ask questions. The question is, what is the true life? What is the tree of life in terms of a vehicle to achieve higher consciousness? What the hell? But when you're going through the whole book, I'll be able to break that down for you. I'm going to do that anyway. So I'll be right back. Right thinkers, in closing, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I've never known that my right thinkers who's starting to get their act together and climb the tree of life with me have passed away. I'll be right back.